Every 40 seconds, someone suffers a stroke. Before this video is over, several more people around the world will experience one. Some will survive, some will never speak the same way again. Some will lose the ability to walk, drive, cook, or live independently. And the most frightening part is this: many of them were warned, not by a doctor, not by a blood test, not by a hospital scan. Their own brain warned them, hours before, sometimes a full day before, sometimes even several days before. The problem is that the warning signs are often so brief, so strange, and so easy to dismiss that most people ignore them completely. They blame stress, they blame fatigue, they blame aging, then the real stroke arrives. If you are over 50, this may be one of the most important health videos you ever watch, because today, you're going to learn what a stroke often looks like before it happens, why these warning signs occur, and what you should do if you ever experience one. And some of these symptoms may surprise you. Why strokes rarely come out of nowhere. Most people imagine a stroke as a lightning strike. One moment you're fine, the next moment you're on the floor unable to move. But the reality is usually very different. Most strokes are the final chapter of a process that has been developing quietly for years. Blood vessels become damaged, plaque builds up inside artery walls, blood flow becomes restricted, tiny clots begin forming, and eventually, one of those clots blocks blood flow to part of the brain. When that happens, brain cells begin dying within minutes. The brain has almost no reserve. Unlike fat or muscle tissue, it cannot simply wait around for oxygen to return. It needs a constant supply every second of every day. That is why doctors often say, time is brain. Every minute matters. But before the major blockage occurs, the brain frequently sends warning signals. Doctors call these events transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs. Many people call them mini-strokes, and although the symptoms disappear, they should never be ignored, because a TIA is often the brain's final warning before a major stroke. Imagine someone knocks on your front door in the middle of the night. You look outside. Nobody is there. 10 minutes later, someone knocks again, then silence. You would not ignore that. You would know something is wrong. That is exactly what a TIA is. A temporary interruption of blood flow. The symptom appears, then disappears. You feel normal again, but the underlying problem remains. Research has repeatedly shown that many major strokes occur within the first 72 hours after a TIA. That means your body may be giving you a 3-day opportunity to prevent a life-changing event. The tragedy is that many people never use that opportunity because the warning sign vanished. And when symptoms disappear, people assume the danger disappeared too. Unfortunately, that is not how strokes work. Let's look at the most important warning signs. Warning sign number 1, sudden vision loss. You're walking through your kitchen, reading your phone, watching television, then suddenly something strange happens. One eye becomes blurry, foggy, dark, almost as if someone pulled a curtain across part of your vision. You blink, rub your eye, wait a few seconds, and then everything returns to normal. Many people assume their eye was tired, maybe dry, maybe they stood up too quickly, but temporary vision loss in one eye can be one of the clearest stroke warnings the body can send. Why? Because the arteries supplying your eye branches directly from major arteries that feed your brain. If a tiny clot temporarily blocks blood flow to the retina, vision disappears. When the clot moves away, vision returns. The episode may last only seconds, maybe a minute, then it is gone, but the message remains. If a clot can reach the eye, it can reach the brain, and the next blockage may not disappear. It may become permanent. Neurologists take this symptom extremely seriously, because it often appears shortly before a larger stroke. If you ever experience sudden temporary blindness or a curtain-like loss of vision in one eye, treat it as an emergency, not an inconvenience. Warning sign number 2, numbness on one side of the body. This is one of the most common warning signs, and one of the most misunderstood. You are sitting normally, talking, watching television, eating dinner, then suddenly your hand feels strange. Perhaps your arm feels numb. Maybe one side of your face tingles. Some people describe it as pins and needles. Others say it feels like rubber or cotton. The important detail is that it affects only one side of the body, not both, and it appears suddenly, then disappears. That is very different from sleeping on your arm or sitting in an awkward position. Those situations compress nerves. A TIA affects the brain itself. Remember something important. The left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. The right side of your brain controls the left side. When blood flow temporarily decreases in one hemisphere, sensation often changes on the opposite side. The symptom may last only a few minutes. Then everything returns to normal. But normal doesn't mean safe, because the blood vessel problem that caused it is still there, waiting. Warning. Sign number 3, a sudden drunk walk. Imagine walking through your house, a route you've walked thousands of times. Then suddenly your balance disappears. You drift sideways, miss a step, grab a wall, reach for a chair. Some people describe it as feeling drunk despite not drinking alcohol. Others experience sudden intense dizziness. The room may feel unstable. Their legs feel unreliable. Their coordination seems to vanish. This happens because the cerebellum, the part of the brain responsible for balance and coordination, is extremely sensitive to interruptions in blood flow. Even brief reductions can create dramatic symptoms. What makes this warning sign dangerous is how easily people explain it away. I'm tired. My blood pressure is low. I got up too fast. I must be dehydrated. Maybe, but maybe not. Especially if the episode appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly. Any unexplained loss of balance deserves serious attention. Warning. Sign number 4, speech problems. Few symptoms frighten people more than this one. You know exactly what you want to say, but the words won't come out correctly. Or someone speaks to you and suddenly their words make no sense. You might slur your speech, struggle to form sentences, use the wrong words, or feel as if language itself has become scrambled. Then 10 minutes later, everything is normal again. Many people laugh it off. They blame stress, lack of sleep, getting older. But sudden speech difficulty is one of the strongest warning signs of an impending stroke. Language centers in the brain require constant blood flow. When that flow drops, speech often becomes impaired immediately. Sometimes people understand everything, but cannot speak clearly. Sometimes they speak fluently, but their sentences make no sense. Both situations are dangerous because they indicate that parts of the brain responsible for communication are being deprived of oxygen. If speech suddenly changes, even briefly, do not wait to see if it happens again. Get evaluated immediately. Warning sign number 5, the worst headache of your life. Not every headache is dangerous. Millions of people experience headaches every day. Stress, fatigue, sinus congestion, neck tension, all common causes. But stroke-related headaches are different. Patients often describe them with the same phrase, "I've never felt anything like it before." The pain appears suddenly, intensely, without warning, sometimes within seconds. The headache may be accompanied by dizziness, confusion, vision changes, weakness, or nausea. Particularly concerning is a headache that feels dramatically different from your usual pattern. Your body knows its normal signals. When something feels profoundly different, pay attention, especially if other neurological symptoms appear alongside it. The risk factors. Most people ignore. Now let's talk about what actually damages blood vessels, because warning signs don't appear randomly. They usually develop after years of silent injury. The first major culprit is high blood sugar. Even before diabetes is officially diagnosed, elevated glucose can damage the delicate lining of blood vessels. This inner lining is called the endothelium. Think of it as the protective coating inside every artery. When healthy, blood flows smoothly. When damaged, plaque forms more easily, clots become more likely, and stroke risk rises. The second major culprit is smoking. Every cigarette introduces chemicals that injure blood vessels, inflame artery walls, increase clot formation, and accelerate plaque buildup. Many smokers focus on lung cancer, but strokes are one of the most devastating consequences of tobacco use. The third culprit is high blood pressure. Over years, elevated pressure acts like water hammer inside plumbing. The constant force weakens artery walls, creates damage, and accelerates plaque formation. That damage may remain invisible for decades, then suddenly become obvious in a single catastrophic event. Why many strokes happen during sleep. This surprises many people. A significant number of strokes occur during the night. People go to bed feeling completely normal, then wake up unable to move an arm, unable to speak, unable to stand. Why? Part of the answer involves blood pressure. During healthy sleep, blood pressure naturally drops. This is normal, but imagine an artery already narrowed by plaque. Blood flow is already struggling to get through. Now pressure drops even further. The reduced flow may become insufficient, especially if a small clot forms at the same time. That combination can transform a partial blockage into a complete blockage, which is one reason stroke prevention becomes so important long before symptoms appear. What to do if you experience one of these warning signs? First, do not panic, but do not ignore it either. The goal is not fear, the goal is action. If you experience sudden vision loss, one-sided numbness, balance problems, speech difficulty, or a severe, unusual headache, seek medical attention immediately, even if the symptom disappears, especially if it disappears, because disappearing symptoms are exactly what make TIAs so dangerous. People feel normal again, and normal feels safe, but the underlying blood vessel problem may still be progressing. If possible, write down what happened, when it happened, how long it lasted, which side of the body was affected, what you were doing at the time. These details can help doctors identify patterns and potentially prevent a major stroke. 3 tests worth discussing with your doctor. The first is a carotid ultrasound. This test evaluates the major arteries in your neck, the same arteries responsible for delivering blood to your brain. Significant narrowing can often be detected long before a major stroke occurs. The second is an HbA1c blood test. This test measures average blood sugar over several months, not just one morning. It can identify prediabetes and diabetes before serious complications develop. The third is heart rhythm monitoring, particularly for atrial fibrillation, a condition that dramatically increases stroke risk. Many people have atrial fibrillation without realizing it. The heart rhythm becomes irregular, clots form, and those clots may eventually travel to the brain. Detecting the condition early can dramatically reduce risk. After hearing all of this, you might think stroke is inevitable. It isn't. In fact, stroke is one of the most preventable major medical events. Blood pressure can be managed, blood sugar can be controlled, smoking can be stopped, physical activity can improve circulation, weight loss can reduce vascular strain, sleep apnea can be treated, heart rhythm disorders can be identified. Every one of these actions lowers risk. The problem is that prevention feels boring until the day it becomes life-saving. People often wait for symptoms before taking health seriously. Stroke teaches a different lesson. By the time symptoms arrive, damage may already be occurring. The best protection happens beforehand. Stroke rarely arrives without warning. The body often whispers before it screams. A brief blackout in one eye, sudden numbness on one side, a strange loss of balance, speech that suddenly stops working, a severe headache unlike anything you've experienced before. These are not symptoms to brush aside. They are messages from a brain asking for help. And the difference between listening and ignoring them can be the difference between independence and disability. If you remember nothing else from today's video, remember this. A symptom that disappears is not necessarily a problem that disappeared. Sometimes it is your final opportunity to act before something far more serious happens. Protect your brain, protect your future, and if you've ever experienced any of these warning signs, write them down and discuss them with your doctor as soon as possible.